As a multiple sclerosis certified specialist, one of the number one questions that I get from my clients with MS is, what mobility aids should I be using? And not only that, but what brands do you like and what should I be looking for? So today, what we're going to be doing is reviewing the Rollz Rollator. And to be honest, I have heard of this Rollator for many years. And I wasn't really sure what I thought about it, but they recently sent me their base rollator, and it's a 2-in-1 model. So it turns into a transport wheelchair. And I've been playing around with it, and I actually really love it and have some thoughts on it. So I'm going to show you what it is and how it works, and then also share my thoughts from my perspective as a physical therapist. This is what the rollator looks like. It's the color pink, which I just absolutely love, but it's a 2-in-1 model, as I mentioned. So this is the rollator, and I'm going to show you the features about the rollator first, but you'll see there's also this attachment that ends up serving as a chair so that you can sit in it as a wheelchair. But we'll get to that in a second. For now, I am going to take that part off, and we'll get back to that in a bit. Okay, so for starters, it rolls very smoothly. Obviously, I'm on carpet right now, but I used it outside on my driveway and throughout my home, and it rolls really nice. It's very smooth, which is always something that I look for when I'm suggesting rollators to my clients with MS. And the brakes with the Rollz rollator does work differently than other rollators. So one way that you can use the brakes is by squeezing one or both handles, ideally both handles, up. And when you pull them up, the brakes are on and it won't move. When you let go, it rolls. But what you can do is pull the brakes up, and there's these little gray pieces here. If you put that up, it stays locked. And so then if you wanted, you could sit down on the rollator and it won't move because the brakes are fully on without you having to keep your hands clenched and keeping them up. This is also going to be a really good feature if you plan on exercising with your mobility aid, because again, the brakes are just locked. You don't have to worry about the rollator moving. Then once you don't want them locked anymore, if you're going to get up and go, you just lift up, release, and you're on your way. Another thing that's really important with all rollators is that the handles are at the appropriate height for you and your body. Because if they're not, then it can result in elbow pain, wrist pain, neck pain, and it also can make it harder to use the mobility aid. So one thing I like about the Rollz rollator is that it's really easy to do. All you need to do is twist and it releases it. As you can see, it just went down. And then there's numbers, and you can pick what number is right for you. Now, quick side note, the number that's going to be right for you is going to be based on when you're standing up tall and you push your arms out to the side. The handle should be in alignment with your wrist bone. So this would be too tall for me because my wrist bone is here and it's all the way up here. So for me, I'm just going to loosen it. Let's see. I might try level 3. Let's see if that... Nope, still too high. It might be level 2. We'll go at level 2. And you just turn it the other way to tighten it. That looks good. What side is this on? This is at a 1. Okay, that is the appropriate height for me. Another thing I love about this rollator are these tippers right here. What that allows you to do is tip the rollator back if you need to go up onto a curb, or if you're walking on uneven surfaces and there's a crack or something that you're trying to avoid, you can tip it up, get up on the curb or avoid the obstacle, and then continue on your way. I feel like that is a very rare feature. I have not seen these on many other rollators, so I really like it. Lastly, before I show you the feature where we add the chair on, I do just want to show you how this collapses because it actually stores really nicely. So this seat is Velcroed on, so we're going to take it off, put it to the side, and then we're going to press this red button and lift it up. And as you lift, it will close the rollator. It looks like I put the seat down a little bit too far. So what I'm going to do is just move it a little bit further away from the edge. And then same thing, press the red button and lift, and the rollator closes pretty narrow. I'm happy with this. I feel like this width would fit in most places that you would store a rollator. So I think this is a really good feature. And once you need to use it, you just push the seat down. It clips in place, lift the seat, place it on the seat, and you're good to go. In this rollator, as I mentioned too, when your brakes are on and fully locked, you are able to sit if you need a rest. But the other awesome feature is that you can add the wheelchair seat, and it turns it into a transport wheelchair, which means someone can push you in it, or you can just use it to sit and rest. So let's look at that. Okay, so this is the feature that turns into a chair. It's pretty lightweight. It's very easy to hold on to. What I'm going to do is lift this latch, and then I'm going to go ahead and put it in the notches that are in the rollator. And if I wanted, let me take the brakes off, I could walk around with it on right then and there. And most people do walk with this rollator with it on, because then it's with you wherever you go. Then you won't need to choose if you want to use just the rollator or the wheelchair option. It's just with you. And if you feel like you're walking around and getting fatigued, you can take a break and put the chair on and sit in the wheelchair. So this normally would stay on. I just wanted to show you how the rollator worked without it. Let's say I'm fatigued and I need to sit down. I'm going to make sure the brakes are on, and then I'm just going to pull the chair up and hook it into these clips that are right here. I'm not sure if you could really see that. Let me show you from this angle as well. Let me put the brakes back on. To remove this seat, you're just going to slide it forward and slide back down. But there are these hooks here where the chair just slides right into. And also, I should note, I am someone who does not like reading the instruction manuals to put things together. So I actually did not look at the instruction manual as I was putting this together. I tried to see if I could just do it on my own, and I was able to. It took me about 5 minutes or less to figure it out, but I didn't need the manual, meaning pretty easy to put together. So once you got the chair on, the brakes are on, now it can be used as a wheelchair. Now, if you are on your own and someone is not going to be pushing you on it in the chair, then it would just stay as is. You can take the brakes off and swivel it around, and you then put the brakes on, of course, and you would then sit on it this way. Scoot yourself back and relax. And there are footrests I'll show you in a second, but you can just relax like this. However, if you do have someone who's going to push you, one nice feature, so this is where we started, the seat was up, you can actually swivel the hand rests to come around the other way. So similar to when we were changing the height of the armrests, where you're going to swivel these, we're going to loosen them. And you're just going to swivel them the other way so that they're in an appropriate height or a comfortable height for the person who's going to be pushing you. And then, of course, you tighten those up. Same thing on the other side. Loosen, swivel, lift to the appropriate height, tighten, take the brakes off, and now it can be pushed by someone so that you can be sitting and relaxing and someone else is pushing you around as you are recovering and resting. Now, I do want to show you the footrest. So if you open up the back of the seat, this is where the footrests live. So you're going to take one footrest out and the other footrest, and these open. And they fit on really nicely. So all you're going to do is put them on the right above the wheels. And now there are footrests, and you can lift them up if you don't want them down. So you might have them lifted as the person is going to sit down, and then maybe you lower them to put your foot on. Scoot back, and you're good to go. To take the footrests off, you're just going to do the exact opposite. You're going to lift, 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 lift. And they're already out. And then you just put them back in the chair storage system that it comes with. And then you're going to close it up. It's Velcroed and you're good to go. So from here, you could choose to sit back down, have someone push you, or just rest. Or for demonstration purposes, let's turn it back into a rollator. So first thing I'm going to do is take these down to my height and swivel it back the regular way. Same thing on this side. And I'm just going to slide the seat forward, push it down, and I'm good to go. Take the brakes off, swivel, and I'm on my way. Something I do want to point out is the weight of the rollator. It's not extremely heavy, but it is heavier than some of the other rollators out there. And while some might feel like there's some limitations with that because it is going to be harder to put in and out of a car, it's doable, but it will be a little bit more challenging. It'll be pretty challenging to bring up and down stairs. You're probably going to need someone to help you lift that. However, a big perk of the weight of this mobility aid is that it does add more stability. So if you are someone who tends to put a decent amount of weight of your body and your arms through the mobility aid, lighter mobility aids and lighter rollators are probably going to make you feel unsteady. And you might even notice that they make you feel like the rollator is tipping from side to side. You should not notice that at all with the Rollz rollator because it's heavier and sturdier. So again, it's light enough where you can lift it, but it's heavy enough where it will allow for more stability, which I think is a really great feature. It's also a great feature if you do plan on exercising with your rollator. Almost all of my missing link exercises can be done in a standing position, and we talk a lot in the missing link about taking weight off of your mobility aid. So you're using it, but not so much that you're depending on it. And so when you're using a rollator for your exercises, especially if you have a goal of not always having to use your rollator and just using it on certain days when you're more fatigued, you want to make sure you have a sturdy one to practice your exercises on. So having a nice stable mobility aid will help you do these exercises safely and more effectively as well. So you could use this for some weight shifting exercises side to side, maybe some staggered stance, weight shifting, strengthening exercises, balance, stretching, you name it. Another thing that I really like about the Rollz rollator is that this base model can allow for upgrades because Rollz has a few other options out there. They have an electric kit, they have a neuromuscular one, especially if you have Parkinson's or you need something to help you move forward. They have one that has a line on the ground and helps you learn where to step to keep you up to pace and up to speed. So that can be added to this one. They have air tires that can be used with this rollator. So the base model is a great option to start with, but any upgrades you make just get added to this. You don't have to purchase a whole nother rollator just to get those extra features. For example, maybe you don't have the wheelchair portion, you just use the rollator. But in a few years from now, if your fatigue is getting worse and you feel like you might want that wheelchair option to sit and rest, you could get just the wheelchair part and fit it right into the rollator that you got initially. I also think that this rollator is a good one to have good posture in. Again, it's all going to be about having the proper alignment of your armrests and hand rests that you're using, but the shape and the width of this rollator is going to allow you to be more likely to have a better posture upright versus hinging forward, holding onto the rollator. So I think the height and stability allows you to be able to utilize your core more effectively to allow for better posture. The last thing that I wanted to share that I just like about this rollator is that it's basically two mobility aids in one. You've got the rollator and the wheelchair. And as we know with multiple sclerosis, Every day is different. So there might be days where you need the wheelchair option. There might be other days you need the rollator option. There might be other days where you use the rollator option, but just really lightly. And it's just there for safety, but you don't have to depend on it. Regardless of the type of day you're having, it's two aids in one, so that even if you are having a good day, a strong day, and you're using the rollator, but you're out and about and you need to sit down, you don't have to try to find a bench or a place to sit at, it's with you. So having two mobility aids in one is great for the unpredictability of multiple sclerosis, and it's great for storage. So when this collapses up, again, you would just open this latch, remove this part, remove the seat, place it on the seat, click the button, and open. This essentially stores two aids in one versus having a wheelchair as one of your aids and then also a rollator that would take up twice the amount of storage. So it's very practical as well. I hope you found that demonstration and review helpful if this is something that you are considering using for yourself and your mobility. If you are looking for very functional exercises that can help you improve your walking with or without a mobility aid like a rollator, then definitely check out my online MS wellness program called The Missing Link. This is where you will find all of my favorite MS specific exercises, not just to strengthen your muscles, but also strengthen your brain and the connection between your muscles and the brain, which when you have MS, that is imperative. The program contains videos of all of these exercises, in addition to guides that tell you exactly what exercises to do each day, and the opportunity to join me live weekly and monthly for check-ins to answer any questions that you have and help you as obstacles get in the way. I'll put a link down in the description where you can learn more about The Missing Link. And I'll also include a link where you can learn more about the Rollz Rollator. They did give me a discount code, so if you are looking to get it, check the description and I'll share the code with you there. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day.